Okay, so we are to analyze an excerpt from Macbeth, and it's scene 4, act 3. And at first we were to analyze the development of Macbeth in scene 4, and we have divided his behavior or his state of mind into 3 stages.
Okay, at first he is composed and acts as a humble host. He meets with this murderer and is content with the successful murder of Banquo. But again, he seems a bit afraid of the fact that he's murdered someone. He uses euphemism for the murder. For example, he says, "Is he dispatched?" instead of murdered or dead. Yeah, and he also says, "But Banquo is safe," referencing to the murder again. Yeah, and then he says, "You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome." On page 81, line 1 to 2, and this just illustrates his humble host act. Yeah, he says you all own your own worth, and that you are respected men or lords or whatever, and that they are welcoming them with open arms. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the second stage is when Banquo is has entered, and this is Macbeth's reaction. So he's seems as if he's lost his mind. He seems very frustrated and bewildered at the same time. So he's sort of confused, and the quote that was read in the first stage that said, "You know your own degrees. Sit down. First and last, the hearty welcome." We found a follow-up quote that sort of shows the change he's gone through here. So Lady Macbeth says, "Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once." So now there's this chaos. There's no longer control, and it's the same for Macbeth. So we also found another quote that sort of signifies how he feels. That's the quote is, "The time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange, and such a murder is." So this is sort of his reaction to Banquo entering the banquet, and he seems very frustrated with it.
So in the third stage, he has regained composure, and he is more determined than he was in the last stage, and seems decidedly more rational. He can now see that his reaction to the ghost was irrational, and in the next quote, we see that he accepts the inevitable consequences of the murder. He says, "For now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way." That is line 134 to 136 on page 89. Yes, and as mentioned, that illustrates how he accepts what is to come.
And secondly, we wanted to analyze, or we had to analyze the role of Lady Macbeth in the excerpt. Yeah.
Yes, and we see her as a caretaker. She's kind of level-headed and takes control over the situation, and yeah, she's dealing with the fact that Macbeth is crazy right now, and he's
Yes. Yeah, so she's very concerned with their image or their facade towards the other lords. So she tries to kind of calm Macbeth down, but at the same time she's undermining Macbeth's manhood. For example, she says, "All these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her granddam, Shame Itself. And that's line 66 to 69, page 85. And this just illustrates how he compares his fear of the ghost or whatever he sees to a story a story told by a grandmother to a woman.
Yes. And by undermining his manhood, she is encouraging him to behave normal because it's damaging their reputation.
Exactly.
Reputation, yes. But at the same time, she defends Macbeth's behavior because yes, it hurts or damages their reputation. So, and we have a quote that illustrates this. It is.
My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. So she kind of develops the story, which is incorrect, of course, but protects Macbeth's image. And this also shows that Lady Macbeth is still kind of manipulative. She makes up this lie to protect their facade and keep them from all suspicion of both Banquo and Duncan's death. Yeah, and at last we played out an excerpt from the scene.
Yes, and we chose this excerpt because, as aforementioned, it shows how Lady Macbeth encourages Macbeth to pull himself together and act normal.
Yeah, and just like the relation between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, and how Lady Macbeth acts towards the lodge, which she has to keep her composure and their composure, versus how she acts towards Macbeth, where she is very dominating, manipulative, undermining his manhood to get him in order, kind of.
Sweet remembrancer, now good digestion, weight on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness, sit.
Here had we now our country's honored roof, where the graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance?
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here's a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Yills. Rise, gentlemen. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him. Are you a man?
Ay, and a bold one, that dare look at that which might appal the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts impostors to true fear would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her granddam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces when all stunned you look but on a stool?
Prithee, see there, behold, look, lo! How say you? Why, what I care, if thou canst not speak to, if charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be
the maws of cats.